back to our first afternoon session. I hope everybody has got some refreshments so that we can continue to look at more details of programming. And the first speaker, according to our program, will be again Natali. Natali, you will give us components. Therefore, I think you will also focus a lot on the vaccination issue and the health aspects. So, Natali, it is your floor.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I need to know my audience, and I forgot to ask you this morning. Who works as a volunteer for an NGO? Can you raise your hand, please? Does it work? Oh, excuse me. Technical problems. Can you? No. Can you hear me now? Yeah?
No.
No.
I think the interpreter can't hear you, that's the problem.
Oh, so the audience here can hear me, but the translator cannot.
Okay, everything.
Yeah, okay. I forgot to ask you this morning, because I like to know my audience. Can you raise your hand when you work as a volunteer for an NGO, please? Okay.
Oh, there are many more in the back.
Okay, and who works for a municipality? Only one? Oh, no. Okay. And are there any other people involved here working for government or? No. Okay. So the majority of my audience are people working for municipalities, yes?
Or for government offices.
Or government offices. Okay. CNVR. I would like to explain what it is, because we don't like the term catch. Because most of the dogs can be easily collected. We don't need to catch them. They're friendly dogs, and we use local dog wardens or local dog lovers to bring us the dogs. You don't need to catch them with nets or traps or whatever means they use. So CNVR, I would like to explain what it means. The C is for collect, the N is for neuter. I understood from talking to many of you that the Bulgarian people don't like the word castrate. So maybe you should invent a new word that's more positive for the Bulgarian citizens. So the N is for neuter, the V is for vaccinate, and the R is not for release, but for return, because it means you include the owned dogs. You don't release an owned dog, you return an owned dog. Okay, so that's what CNVR means. It's not we didn't invite this word. It's international. People use this term. I would like to explain to you that it should be run nationally, because we experience in Romania and Turkey, if you focus only on one municipality, it's very hard, because other municipalities will dump dogs in areas where you just neutered all the dogs. I think in Bulgaria it should be a national program. Again, this is what I'm trying to say, I was too fast. Collect, neuter, vaccinate and return. This is the whole list of things you're going to need to implement this national program. I'm not going to talk about all of them separately, because my colleagues will. Robert will do some speeches, and also Murat will do the education part. I was telling you this morning, I don't understand how you can solve a problem if you don't know the size of the problem. So the first thing I think should be done is counting dogs. Just we have a special method. We drive with a car, just 10 or 15 kilometers per hour from one end to the city to the other and count all the dogs we see in 15 meters from us. It's a very complicated thing to count dogs because there are no good reports or where you can learn from. There's actually one, and that's the purpose of counting dogs. I forgot. It's of course identify the source of the stray dogs. Where do these dogs come from? Do they come from owned dogs or dumped dogs from elsewhere? You can do that by making surveys, for instance. Just knock on every door and ask people, do you own a dog? I made a questionnaire, especially for these type of countries, and it's anonymous, so people shouldn't be afraid of answering those questions. What I mentioned before is you should know the size of your problem, because you cannot make any estimation on cost, how long this plan should last. And I understood in Sofia, for instance, that they want to get rid of the dogs near hospitals, near schools, parks or something. Kindergartens, correct. So if you want to prioritize some area, it's also very handy if you know how many dogs there are. And you can focus, if there's a huge problem, then you should prioritize one area if you really want to solve it. And of course, how much money has it going to cost? So you have to know how many dogs there are. And once you've counted the dogs and you started the intervention with a collect, neuter, vaccinate, and return program, it doesn't stop there, because you have to know the results. So after a certain time period, you have to do the counting again, because that's what it's all about. That's what I don't understand, is that worldwide there are no statistics. People say, oh, I neutered 10,000 dogs, my NGO neutered 10,000 dogs this year. Fine, what was the result? So how was the situation before, how was the situation afterwards? There's one program in India called Help in Suffering. It's done by an Englishman, Jack Rees. He's the only one who really produced scientific reports with very nice graphs about how many dogs were born, how many they neutered, what the result is. And that intervention program was specified on human rabies cases. So people died, a lot of people die in India of rabies caused by dog bites. And but I think that's one of the most important reports to read. But it's a scientific report, so it contains a lot of pages. This is a report made by Whisper. This map you see, it's from Cairo, and they invented a kind of dog counting system. They divide the city into certain areas. You can do that by Google Maps or whatever. And this is too complicated to explain now, but if you have the chance, you should look at this report, because it can be very helpful. It has some formulas, mathematical formulas. It's easy to paste and copy them. But I think this is the first step. Okay, I'll go to the second one. It's a whole list, but I'm going through them. Public-private partnership. Robert is going to do a lecture about that. I already tasted some hostility here between the faculty and NGOs. The public-private partnership has to have a lot of parties. We have to work together. It's not about if you like the person or not, it's about working together. You have to put it aside. We always advise to form a dog population management board. And in that board, several parties are participating. Of course, the central government has to be one of the partners, and preferably one ministry, because if you divert it to several ministries, it's not going to work. I think in this case, it's the Ministry of Agriculture that's they invited us here. And of course local governments should be one of the partners. NGOs, very important, should be one of the partners in this program. International bodies, they can advise you. They have so many programs already available. You don't have to invent the wheel again, it's already there. The veterinary authority also has to be a partner in this. And of course the private sector veterinarians, they can execute actually the spay and neuter. But Robert is going to speak about this more in detail. Of course, to do this program, we need money. But this funding, we think, should be centrally funded. Because then the central purchasing of goods, it can be cheaper, it can be more profitable to do that. And if you organize it centrally, then and you municipality have to cooperate with it. I think it's more structural doing it like this. And at the ministry, I think there are already people at work there, so maybe it can save you money on employing new people. The European Union, my colleague just mentioned it, they have money available for helping EU countries. I'm not an expert on that because it's a very complicated matter, but I'm sure there are Bulgarians with good skills who can find a way to get money from the European Union. Because it's about public health, of course. There is money available to improve public health within the European Union. And solving the street dog problem will also be a benefit for public health. Education. The European Union has money available for education projects. And one of the components for this national program is education. And twinning. I think it's, I'm not sure, I think it's something to do with two cities working together. So that you can find funding somewhere. You have to really search for it very good. Legislation, we already spoke about legislation. In my opinion, you have a wonderful law, really. Only the implementation is not done sufficiently, but there's nothing wrong with the current legislation. There is an English translation